Hello and welcome to the talkSPORT Goals preview show, brought to you by your final one standing is new from William Hill, 18 plus, gambleaware.org. I'm Sam Ellard and I'm with Lee Phelps from William Hill. The Premier League is back this weekend and so is talkSPORT Goals. It's live on the talkSPORT YouTube channel and on your smart TVs from 12:30 on Saturday. Lee Phelps, looking forward to seeing you in real life on Saturday. Let's now go through, shall we then, the games this weekend and try and pick out some exciting odds. We'll start with Arsenal, Nottingham Forest, Saturday 12:30, live on talkSPORT. Forest have a new manager. It's not Nuno, it's Ange. Postecoglou is back in North London at the Emirates as Nottingham Forest's new manager. Forest have lost 5 of their last 11 league matches and have not got a good record at Arsenal, losing their last 6 to a 19-2 aggregate score. Lee, what have you made of the last few days? And how has it impacted the bookies and the odds of Nottingham Forest?
Yeah, it's been a crazy few days. I mean, it feels like we've been away for ages. So much has happened with the end of the transfer window and then obviously the managerial change here. Yeah, crazy. Forest are 7-1 at Arsenal. Now, I'm not saying that isn't a fair price. It just looks big on the face of the fact that Forest are capable, as you say, not usually against Arsenal, though. Arsenal 4-11, so very, very healthy favourites here. The draw is 19-5, so Arsenal, yeah, one of the biggest favourites you'll find over the weekend. What difference does the manager make? I mean, it's a weird one, isn't it? Because we talk about managerial bounces, but I don't know what you think and what you've heard, but it wasn't the players who were upset with Nuno. He had a great relationship with them. So it's not like you've lost the dressing room and suddenly you're going to get this bounce because someone else comes in. I always wonder what the players think, Sam, in these situations. If it's you and I in the changing room and we're playing for Forest, I know it's a bit of a stretch, but just imagine we're Premier League players.
I get your point, Lee. One thing I would say, though, is I can't imagine the players were too happy when Steve Cooper moved on from Nottingham Forest. He did an amazing job there. Players weren't happy, fans weren't happy, but Nuno comes in, wins a few games, all of a sudden things look a little bit different. And of course, then fast forward, 18 months, 2 years, Nottingham Forest are playing in Europe. But no, I take your point. It's a completely strange situation. I think it's an absolute shame that the first Forest manager in 30 years to get them into Europe isn't going to be leading them out in Europe in a couple of weeks' time. But I've got to say, while I'm gutted for Nuno, I'm buzzing for the Premier League as a whole. And Postecoglou's 2-year reign at Tottenham was box office. On the pitch in terms of the way his Tottenham side play football, and off the pitch in terms of his press conferences, the way he spoke. So I'm fascinated about, is he going to change in terms of the way he speaks? Will he play the game a little bit more? And the style of football. Nottingham Forest, we know, were a counter-attacking team last season and had big success, good success doing that. Is Ange going to adapt? Will he have to be more adaptable? Or has Edu brought him in because Edu wants his team to play a little bit more progressive, expansive football? So it's going to be fascinating to see Arsenal Forest, Saturday 12:30, live radio commentary of that game on talkSPORT. So 3 p.m. games, Everton, Aston Villa. Everton, an exciting start to the season. 2 wins from 3. Villa not so exciting. 1 point from 3 games, but welcome in some new faces. Harvey Elliott, Jadon Sancho, new to the Villa team. Remarkably, Everton are winless in their last 12 Premier League matches against Aston Villa. And this game, of course, sees Jack Grealish, an Everton player, go up against his former side, Aston Villa, and 4 assists so far this season, Lee, for Jack Grealish.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm really looking forward to this game. Incidentally, this weekend it's Gold Weekend at William Hill, so it means more offers, more value all weekend, and it starts off with an epic boost in that Arsenal Forest game. So look out for that one. I think there'll be goals, by the way. I think both teams could score, despite Arsenal being such short favourites. But what's going on at Villa, Sam? Like, they've looked poor so far, haven't they? You know, only team in the English 4 divisions that hasn't scored a goal yet. Rodgers plays for England being compared to Gaza by Roy Keane. I mean, what's going on? How does he play so well for England and look so like poor? Not just him, by the way, but the team as a whole. It doesn't seem to have any vim or vigor.
Morgan Rodgers, isn't it?
It's strange. Yeah, it's a bit harsh on him alone. But I thought that maybe it was symptomatic of. Is there something amiss at Villa? Is there something that's not quite right there? Why are they starting?
I think what's not quite right is I think they're being hamstrung, aren't they, by PSR. I think Unai Emery's done such a good job there in such a short space of time, taking them from relegation into European football. And then when they get into Europe, they almost want to have that summer to really be able to push on and kick on. They're not able to do that because of finances. And of course, up until deadline day, when they did bring in some new faces, we saw quite a quiet window for Aston Villa. So I think there's a little bit of frustration maybe off the pitch. They haven't really been allowed to kind of push on. In terms of match odds for this game, Lee, how do you see this going? Because I think, Everton at home will fancy their chances, won't they?
Yeah, absolutely. And I get your point, by the way, but I just think it's more for me, not about what's going on behind the scenes, but there's just this seems to be a lack of commitment on the pitch, a lack of attacking drive and a willingness to get going. You're still a player who plays for Aston Villa at the end of the day. But yeah, and they're nearly 2-1 to win this game. Everton 29-20. I think they're justified favourites. As you mentioned, Jack Grealish, 4 assists in 2 games, back at the Hill Dickinson. They've got goals in them. You know, if Villa don't find goals in this game, and by the way, Harvey Elliott could be, you know, the key to unlock this, maybe, because we know how good he is. You know, he was good, you know, for Liverpool last season, on the bench for Liverpool's games this season, came off the bench a couple of times. Obviously had an amazing under-21 campaign with Euros, player of the tournament. Look, I think they have to score goals though, otherwise Everton win this. And Jai and Beto, give them service. They will score 4 goals in all competitions between them from 6 shots on target, by the way. Nice. And that's that delivery, isn't it, that we've seen from Grealish. You can't miss some of these balls because they're right in front of you. Stick your foot on it and it goes in the goal. Word of warning, though, that both had plenty of minutes on international break in the African World Cup qualifiers. So just a word of caution about Njai and Beto. But I think that they're the key to this. I think Everton's business was great. You know, Tyler Diblin, Jack Grealish, Kieran Dewsbury Hall. I think they're looking at a real team, to be honest with you. I think Everton, at odds against, are a good bet. I'd go Everton, both teams to score potentially, but Villa must find a goal from somewhere.
Another 3 p.m. game on Saturday, Palace-Sunderland. It's the first meeting in the Premier League between the two sides since 2017. Palace on the longest unbeaten run of any Premier League side currently. That's 9 games unbeaten. Palace 5 points from 3 games. Sunderland 6 winning home games against West Ham and Brentford. Interestedly to know if any of the 3 sides that have come up, if their odds have shortened at all in terms of, or lengthened even in terms of getting relegated this season?
Yeah, well, as it was before the international break, really, it's Burnley, Sunderland, Wolves, who are the 3. So it's Leeds who sit outside of that bracket of odds-on favourites to go down. So Leeds just booking the trend at the moment. But let's see how the next 3 games go, because I think it's going to be really interesting. Here's an interesting one. Final one standing, the new £200,000 game, which
I'm ready to go, Lee. By the way. I'm ready to go.
You need it, because even if you're in the 500k game, you can still enter this one. But Palace are one of the most picked teams this weekend, and I think that's because this Sunderland good at home, not good away mantra is just in everyone's minds. It's probably a bit early to say that with too much confidence, but I guess it's what we've been saying. I guess it's what everyone thinks, and it'd be a good result for Sunderland if they went to Palace and won. There are a few injuries for Palace, including Ismail Assar, who I think has been one of the players of the season so far. I know we're only 3 games in, by the way, but 3 goals. Yeah, they've got this new signing from Getafe, Cristantus, or Uche. We'll probably debate the pronunciation on goals on Saturday, as we always do. He had more yellows than goals last season. 8 yellows, wow. 4 goals in 33 games. So I'm not expecting loads from him. He has already been booked in La Liga once this season, and he picked up a yellow in pre-season. So if he does play, 3-1 to be carded. No Adam Wharton. I mean, what about the draw at 27-10 here?
Yeah, it's a tough one. I'm still edging towards Palace. I think Palace at home. I fancy Palace here. The one thing I took there, I'm interested. The bookies have got Leeds as more likely to stay up than Sunderland. I know it was very early on in the season, but I'd say from the very early sample size and the business that Sunderland have done in the transfer window, I think Sunderland look better equipped to stay up than Leeds. Or is that more of a case of maybe Leeds slightly, just why do you think that is?
Yeah, I think there's a bit of weight of money on there. Leeds are a more popular team in terms of taking money. We see lots of bets on them to stay up, obviously, not to go down. Maybe there's a little bit more trust in Leeds. But I get your point though. I think if you've got a match bet between who goes down, I think at the moment you take Sunderland to stay up over Leeds, wouldn't you? It might be that they both go down in the end, but I think that, like you say, that difference in prices. I mean, you've got Leeds at 2-1, Sunderland at 4-5. I think at the moment, as you say, I think Sunderland have got goals in them. Leeds haven't. They've only scored 1 goal so far, and bearing in mind that they outscored every other championship team by 24 goals last season. Where are the goals? We all know you need goals to stay in this division.
2 more 3 p.m. games to focus on. Fulham still looking for their first win of the season, host Leeds, and it's Bournemouth v Brighton. Any markets stand out for you here, Lee, in those 2 games?
Yeah, a few injuries for Leeds, by the way, in that match at Fulham. Keeper looks like he's out. Ampadu looks like he's out. Tanaka as well. Um, I don't want to be too dramatic, but I think this is must win for Fulham. I honestly do. No win in three. Last time
That
they
does
went
feel
longer than three
dramatically.
games without without a win.
I
They
don't
were
want to sound
relegated.
dramatic, but they have to win this game, otherwise it's over.
Listen, it's not over, but like you start to wonder, don't you, as a Fulham fan? You know how we've watched a lot of Fulham so far on talkSPORT Goals. The flip side of the Liverpool not playing well but are winning games is Fulham. They're playing all right, aren't they? But they're just not winning. So they
Yeah.
have to. And Leeds haven't got goals, as I just said. So I just think that Fulham, they have to attack here. They started really well against Chelsea, didn't they? Incidentally, did you see that the Josh King
Yeah, I know. Goal
won
of the
their
month.
goal of the month?
Good
83%.
banter.
Love it. Lovely bit of shousery. Raul Jimenez might be one to look at least have a shots on target. Scored in the League Cup, had 2 shots coming off the bench against Chelsea. Has scored against Leeds, scored a winner against them a few years back. Also got sent off against them as well. So I think, yeah, if I'm looking at Fulham to win that game,
I think so too.
I think they have to, and I think look at Jimenez to be involved in it somewhere along the line. As for the other one, I think it's a tough call.
I'm sitting on the fence with this one, Lee. This is my draw for the weekend. Bournemouth,
Yeah, I
Brighton.
think goals.
A score draw.
You know,
1-1 draw.
Yeah, I like it a lot. At least 3 scored in the last 4 head-to-heads between them. Bournemouth have scored in 7 of the last 8 Premier League games. Brighton found the net in 8 of the last 9 away. I like Matoma. You know, it's his favourite opponent as well. Scored in 4 of his 5 games against the Cherries. So, yeah, maybe he got 10 goals last season in 36 league games. So he averages 1 in 4. This is his 4th game. So let's go Matoma to score.
Okay, good stuff. So 5 Premier League games done, 5 more still to come. This is the talkSPORT Goals preview show with William Hill, and brought to you by Final One Standing. It's new from William Hill, 18+, gambleaware.org. This is the talkSPORT Goals preview show, brought to you by Final One Standing. Is new from William Hill, 18+, gambleaware.org. It's Sam Ellard, Lee Phelps taking you through the Premier League games this weekend, trying to have a look at some of the some exciting odds. That's Lee Phelps' job, no pressure, Lee. We've got one more 3 o'clock game to do. Newcastle Wolves, transfer window is done. So we know Isak's out. Voldemada and Visser are in. Newcastle searching for their first win of the season. Wolves searching for their first point of the season. And Wolves do not do well away at Newcastle. They've won just 1 of their last 22 away matches at Newcastle. Come on then, Lee. Some new faces in at St James's Park. How do you see them going this weekend?
Yeah, well, they're the most picked team in Final One Standing this weekend as we record this, and I don't think it will change. Second in our Final One Standing power rankings, 69% chance of winning this against the bottom team in the league. I'm intrigued to see this new front line. Like you say, Voldemada in this game, the kind of life after Isak front line. I can't believe Visser will be fit enough to start, but look at what he did in the qualifiers suddenly. Scored 2, set 1 up in the qualifiers for the Democratic Republic of Congo. So any doubts over match fitness surely must have eased. Least we can expect is him to be on the bench and come off, so it might be an impact sub-play. Now, I don't know if we want to make this public or not, but we've had a little bit of a WhatsApp chat, haven't we, about the kind of Visser versus Isak match bet this season. I think he could score more Premier League goals than Isak this season. You don't agree?
Say, Lee, I mean, that is one of the most outrageous hot takes I've ever heard in my... I'm not taking anything away from how good Visser is and how good he was last season. I just think you've got the best centre-forward in the world in Isak, playing in the best team in the league, where they're probably going to win the league. He's going to get more chances, he's going to score more goals. I would be gobsmacked if Visser scores more goals than Isak. I'd be absolutely gobsmacked, Lee, but hey.
Let's follow it through the season and see how close we go. But yeah, I think Newcastle win this game, by the way. I think the crowd are going to be all over it. I think it's almost going to be celebratory, like we're better without you kind of thing. We don't need you.
True.
We've got these. I mean, Voldemada scored in his last match for Stuttgart, set up Gnabry's opener against Northern Ireland. He looks a quality player, doesn't he? Under 21s, he scored goals for fun. He has to step up and do it in the Premier League, admittedly. But I think he's the sort of player who could do that. I think they could win 2-0. I think they could win 3-0. Wolves, if Strand Larsen's injury has cleared up, he may have a point to prove in front of this crowd and to Newcastle United. But I think that's maybe their only chance of goals. I'd be looking at Newcastle, maybe -2 on the handicap. But if you like correct scores, just go Newcastle 3-0.
Yeah, I like Newcastle here at home. I think I've said to you a few times on the show that I think Wolves get relegated. I'm not sure Vitor Pereira is in the job for much longer. I think Newcastle at home, loud atmosphere, think they can settle down now, get their first win. Yeah, I like that. West Ham Spurs, always a tasty game. It's a Saturday 5:30 kick-off before the international break. A massive win for Graham Potter. He was under big pressure, back-to-back defeats in the league, lost in the Carabao Cup, went to Forest 1-3-0. Took me out final one standing. Not happy about that. Spurs winning their first two games, and then were really poor at home to Bournemouth, lost and outplayed. Each of the last three games between West Ham and Spurs at the London Stadium have ended in a 1-1 draw. Spurs are winless in their last 5 visits. Odds on a 1-1 4 times in a row, Lee? Is that something that jumps out at you?
Yeah, I like it. I mean, 1-1 specifically. Let me get it for you. I'm going to do it live as we do this. I've got the app.
Sorry, I should have warned you for that one.
11. No, it's fine. 11-2, the price for 1-1. I think if I was looking at that bet, I'd probably go draw and both teams to score. Just then it gives you the 2-2 just in case. But that's 100-30. Obviously a bit shorter a price, but yeah, by all means go the 1-1. I found it quite a difficult game to figure out really. And a week before, we'd have been like, Tottenham all day long. And look, they'll be in a lot of ACCAs. You know, we've got ACCA boost on the Saturday games. That means if you have 4 or more picks, your boost gets activated on your accumulators. And I think Spurs will go in a lot of them. They're 11-10, so that's a decent price. Odds against away from home. You know, I was trying to figure out what went wrong against Bournemouth for Tottenham. And like, they just seem to get out-tacticked. Whether Potter can do that to Tottenham or not at home, because West Ham have to come out, don't they, and play, and I think that'll suit Spurs a bit more. We've been impressed by Richarlison, haven't we? We've been impressed by Sarr as well. Xavi Simons will another one for the pronunciation team at goals.
Yeah, try and get this stuff worked out, Lee, for Sunday, by the way, please. Okay, this is, you need to. You're our correspondent from William Hill.
By the way, we had the debate on Paquetá. We've got to go. It's Paquetá. Everyone's saying Paquetá now.
All right, we'll go Paquetá then, all right?
I like this. I like the pronunciation game that we're going to play throughout the season. Look, but I think that West Ham showed us, didn't they? We talked about it before the game. They've got the players. They've got the players to score goals. So I think whether you can pick out a result here or not, I think you go goals. So I think you add in whatever result you think it's going to be, add in the both teams to score. You know, we know there's quality there from the aforementioned Paquetá, from Bowen, of course. And we know Tottenham can score goals as well. So I'm going to go for both teams to score. I'll edge Tottenham in this one, actually. Yeah. I think just because they're away from home and they can hit on the break, I think I'll go Tottenham 2-1 rather than the draw.
There's me criticising you for pronunciations. I don't know when the show even is. I said Sunday, it's on Saturday. Of course it is. We're not done there on Saturday, by the way. We've got an 8 o'clock game on Saturday night, Brentford-Chelsea. Chelsea 7 points from 9, just one of 3 teams unbeaten so far. Have Chelsea's odds changed much, Lee, in terms of outright odds going for the title?
Yeah, they just keep getting shorter, really. Not massively shorter, but again, we spoke about this, didn't we, in on the show the last time we did the show about that gap between them and Manchester City. And I think it's really interesting to see how they close in. So they're now 13-2 City, 15-2 Chelsea. So 1 point between them. And look, we're going to come on to speak about the Manchester derby. If that doesn't go Man City's way and Chelsea win here, as they should, by the way, then that could well be a flip-flop in terms of odds. And then you say, well, are the top 3 teams in the country Liverpool, Arsenal and Chelsea, and then Man City? Obviously, there's a lot to come with the game, but they're odds on 3-4. Another team that surely will go in knackers on Saturday. Brentford 7-2, 11-4 the draw. I like Chelsea. I like Chelsea to score goals. They might not keep them out, and I think Brentford are obviously a capable side of scoring goals. So again, I think it's a nice one for a both teams to score bet. Chelsea and both teams to score. You could even look at a both teams to score and win ACCA, or maybe even a treble to look at that, because I think there's a few games in here. Chelsea, Tottenham. I'm not sure Newcastle do that. I'm not sure Fulham do. Everton, I don't mind that as well. So you can get some decent prices when you put together the result and match and both teams to score.
Nice, good stuff, Lee. To Sunday then, Burnley, Liverpool, Sunday 2 p.m. It feels like this is all just going to be about one man. It's all going to be. We need a player cam, don't we, on Alexander Isak? Surely going to make a Liverpool debut. Probably most likely, I think, from the bench. Do you guys have a lot of Alexander Isak markets, and are they popular?
Yeah, they have been popular. Yeah, and we've been pricing up various markets all week. The interesting thing here is, I'm not wanting to kind of dampen down that at all. But does he play? I mean, yeah, off the bench, I can see him being sat on the bench. I mean, he hardly played over the international break, which Liverpool's coaching staff and fans, I'm sure, were delighted about. I just wonder about his match fitness. I thought both Wissa and Isak would maybe take a couple of weeks to get in, training with the team, get them settled in, get them match fit. They can't be match fit. They cannot be match fit. And do you bring? I mean, this is a perfect game, admittedly, to bring him on, because you'd imagine, and I'm not being disrespectful to Burnley much, but you'd imagine if you're Liverpool, you'd be in a position midway through the second half that you might be 2 up or whatever, and you can bring him on. I'm not sure he does come on in this game, by the way, but if you like you say, if he does, then what an impact sub bet. If he comes on and replaces Ekitike, for instance, and you've backed him to score, or him to get 2, or him to get a hat-trick, and he's already on the score sheet, and you've got Isak coming on to carry your bet on, you're like, fantastic. Yeah, thanks, I'll take that.
Do you guys have odds
on
who's the top goal scorer in the Premier League?
You won't be surprised to know that, let me get it up for you here, that you won't be surprised to know.
I'm guessing Haaland, Gyökeres, then Isak, maybe?
Yeah, exactly. Haaland, unless he gets injured, will always be the favourite in this market. He showed in midweek, didn't he, in international break, what he's like. Then you've got Gyökeres at 13-2, which I'm so surprised about still. I mean, we can talk about this for as long as we like, can't we? But is he going to score the goals? I don't think he will. Then you've got Isak 7-1, Salah at 9-1. I mean, Salah, it's almost disrespectful to Salah. And I know Isak will have a more of a focal point, up front than Salah will. But Salah's done it year in, year out. And at 9-1, I think he is value. I really do think he's great value at 9-1. Then João Pedro at 10s, Ekitike 16s, Palmer 25s. Admittedly, my man, you have to scroll down quite a long way, 50-1. So it shows you what that match bet's like, this versus Isak in the Premier League, that is.
Yeah, that's rogue from you, Lee, but we like it. We've got 90 seconds to do Manchester City versus Manchester United. Ruben Amorim, I think it's fair to say, is under a lot of pressure. But we go into the Manchester derby with Manchester United above Man City in the league. Man City winning against Wolves first day of the season, back-to-back defeats, and they played badly against Spurs and then against Brighton. How do you see this game going, Lee?
It's a tough one to call, isn't it? Like the odds have City as 4-6 favourites. Feels a bit short. Man United 7-2. Doesn't quite feel big enough. And the draw at 3-1, which sounds really nice, to be honest. And the draw wouldn't be a crazy result. I mean, United have had a really good record against them in recent seasons. The fly in the ointment for Man United is Erling Haaland, and the fact that their defence isn't that waterproof, is it? I mean, he scores. I think both teams score as well. Again, I seem to have been like a stuck record. Both teams to score and the result, but both teams to score in a draw. No one would be surprised. I'd lean towards City. There'll be an epic boost on this game as well as part of Gold Weekend. So look out for that. Haaland will be involved in goals somewhere along the line. I'm just not sure with the injuries that have hit City if they're good enough. And I don't know what you're going to get from Man United. Really tough. So I'm going to sit on the fence. Draw on both teams to score.
Oh, we've got to draw on both teams to score. I like that, Lee. I like that. Good stuff. I think City here. I always think Man City are going to win. I think I'm just so, as a Liverpool fan, watching Man City beat my team to the title when we had 98 points. I'm just used to seeing Man City winning. And I always just think in every game they're going to win, even though they're in pretty bad form.
Yeah, I get it. And I'm the same. And I think from a bookie's point of view, it'll take a while, until those odds reflect that.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
But then we are still talking about a very capable team against a team who finished right down the league and haven't really showed a lot more this season, if we're being honest about Man United.
One word, very quickly. Final one standing. Who are you going for this weekend? I'm going Newcastle. Who have you got?
Liverpool. I think Liverpool, the most picked team, the second most picked team, the top of the power rankings in terms of final one standing. I think, they're the one at Burnley, surely.
Lee, good stuff. Thank you very much. This has been the talkSPORT Gold Preview Show brought to you by Final One Standing. It's new from William Hill, 18+, gambleaware.org. Lee, I will see you on the talkSPORT YouTube channel or on your smart TVs this Saturday, 12:30. talkSPORT Goals is back. The Premier League is back. Happy days.